A lot of AI startups today have a terrifying business model. They spend months, sometimes years, building a product. They raise venture capital, hire a team, acquire customers, and finally start generating some revenue. And then, OpenAI or some big foundation model company launches a new feature. And suddenly, half their roadmap just disappears. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm not exaggerating here. Some AI startups are literally one API update away from becoming irrelevant. Because under the hood, many of them are what the industry now calls AI wrappers. Before founders start throwing keyboards at their screens, let me say this clearly. Being a wrapper isn't necessarily a bad thing. Some wrapper companies will fail miserably. Others may become the next generation of billion-dollar software companies. The real difference comes down to one simple question. Are you building a real product or just a feature? Let's imagine two startups. Startup A spends 6 months building a chatbot, a nice-looking interface, a few clever prompts, and a subscription page. Startup B, on the other hand, spends the same time building workflow automation, enterprise integrations, proprietary data pipelines, approval systems, compliance controls, and proper operational processes. Both are using the exact same AI models, GPT, Claude, Gemini. Yet one is building a proper company. The other is basically building a demo. The AI boom has produced a lot of demos disguised as businesses. Guess what? In 2023 and 24, investors were ready to fund almost anything that had the letters A and I next to each other. It sometimes felt like you could take ChatGPT at dark mode and call it a startup and still raise money. Today, investors are asking much harder questions. Because the market is finally waking up to an important truth. The model is not the business. When people talk about AI wrappers, they mean companies that build on top of powerful foundation models from OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind, or Meta instead of training their own models from scratch. Critics say this is dangerous because you're depending on someone else's technology. But let's be honest, almost all successful software works this way. Nobody calls Netflix a wrapper around cloud infrastructure. Nobody calls Uber a wrapper around smartphones. And nobody calls Stripe a wrapper around banking networks. The real question isn't whether you're using someone else's tech. It's whether you're creating real, meaningful value on top of it. This is exactly why the word wrapper has become almost an insult in the industry. Imagine your startup depends heavily on GPT. One day, OpenAI releases GPT-6. Your product suddenly becomes smarter. Sounds fantastic, right? But on the other side, they can also decide to release your exact feature tomorrow, free to millions of users. That's the real nightmare scenario. Some teams spend a full year building a capability, only for a big foundation model company to announce something very similar in a keynote. Suddenly, you're not competing with other startups anymore. You're competing directly against the platform itself. It's like opening a small coffee shop right inside a Starbucks headquarters. You might survive, but bro, you're playing on very hard mode. Fast forward to 2026. The great shakeout has happened. Thin wrappers, simple interfaces with basic prompts and subscriptions have largely landed in the startup graveyard. Analysts and VCs now predict that 70 to 99% of early pure AI wrappers won't survive. Yet strong players have not only survived, but thrived by building deep moats. Not every wrapper fails though. Take Perplexity AI. Many critics called it a wrapper around foundation models plus retrieval. Technically, that's partially true. But they added serious value, retrieval systems, smart search ranking, proper citations, knowledge synthesis, and a much better product experience. By 2026, Perplexity is valued around $20 billion and continues growing. Cursor is an even better example. It started heavily using GPT and Claude. Critics called it a wrapper. But today, it is one of the fastest growing AI software companies ever, reportedly hitting multi-billion ARR and a $50 billion valuation. Why? Because developers weren't just paying for raw model access. They were paying for deep ID integration, smooth coding workflows, project awareness, and actual productivity gains. Cursor showed that if you own the workflow, not just the prompt, you can build something truly valuable. Similar stories in verticals like Harvey AI in legal tech, now at an $11 billion valuation. Now, here's where the economics become really dangerous. Most of these wrapper companies depend on powerful foundation model providers. OpenAI's annualized revenue has now crossed $25 billion and keeps climbing. Think about that. Thousands of startups are effectively paying rent to these big landlords. And the landlords control the pricing, the rate limits, the capabilities, and they can release competing features anytime they want. This is what investors call platform risk. The landlord owns the land. You're only building the skyscraper on top of it. Let's be brutally realistic. Many AI startups today have almost no moat. Their entire stack is just a GPT API call, a system prompt, a simple interface, and a subscription page. That's it. If the foundation model ships their feature tomorrow, the whole company could vanish overnight. This is why investors now ask tough questions. What happens if GPT gets better next year? What if Claude adds your feature? What if Gemini launches your workflow natively? Business leaders are asking the practical question. If OpenAI or Google gives away your core capability for free tomorrow, do you still have a real business, not just some hope or a quick pivot? AI architects must focus on the technical side. Have you built systems that are model-agnostic, meaning you can easily switch between GPT, Claude, open source models, or even self-hosted ones without breaking everything? Are you creating your own proprietary data loops from users, or just forwarding prompts to an API? Next, I think we must be watching at the bigger picture. The hype cycles, the funding waves, and the growing graveyard of failed startups. That graveyard is very real, even here in India. Jasper AI was a big name in 2023. These cases show the same pattern. If you don't build deep moats, you get commoditized very fast. So how do you actually make business and money in 2026 to 2027? The smart approach is to become model agnostic right from the beginning. Instead of locking yourself to OpenAI, build a universal layer that can intelligently route requests across different models based on cost, speed, or quality. Think of it like a logistics company in India that doesn't own the roads or the trucks. They optimize routes across multiple transporters. Keep your analogy. Winners are moving beyond subscriptions to hybrid and outcome-based pricing, charging for real results like tickets resolved, documents drafted accurately, or deals closed, not just tokens or seats. They focus on enterprise verticals with compliance, security, and custom data pipelines. India's booming enterprise AI adoption offers a massive opportunity here. The model becomes a commodity. The workflow, proprietary data, agentic capabilities, multi-step autonomous processes, and strong distribution become the real assets. So, if you're building an AI startup today, ask yourself honestly, are you just a tenant on someone else's land? Or do you own the building, the doors, the locks, and the keys? Here's the important twist. The anti-wrapper crowd sometimes oversimplifies things. Some wrappers add almost nothing, but others create entirely new workflows and categories. Customers don't pay for big parameter counts, they pay for real results and convenience. Distribution, great user experience, deep domain knowledge, proprietary data, and strong workflow ownership matter far more than owning the model itself. Being a wrapper isn't the problem. Being a thin wrapper is the problem. So, are most AI startups secretly wrapper companies? Honestly, yes. A large percentage are built on top of foundation model APIs rather than training their own models. But that doesn't automatically make them weak businesses. The real question is this: what exists between the model and the customer? If the answer is just a prompt and a nice UI, that's dangerous. If the answer is a complete workflow, proprietary data, integrations, memory systems, agentic automation, and strong distribution, then you have a real company. The winners of the AI era may not be the ones with the biggest models. They will likely be the ones who build the most valuable layer on top of them. Because history has shown us again and again, technology creates value. But it's the products that actually capture it. And in AI, this distinction might decide who survives the next decade, not just in Silicon Valley, but right here in India's booming startup ecosystem. Thank you for watching. If you're building something, drop your thoughts in the comments below.